This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
He's back. And he's angrier than ever. I guess he listens to the shows that I talk shit on him. And he has stuff to say right here on RulaskaThoughts. Afternoon, everybody. This is the afternoon where I'm recording it. My name's Joe Betance, and I am one of the hosts in RulaskaThoughts. But the other host, he puts the row in RulaskaThoughts, which is supposed to be RulaskaThoughts, but you guys get it.
Boom.
He's from the area. I don't. What does Modesto consider itself? Is it like the Bay Area? Is it Central California? What is it?
Some hoes will definitely try to claim the Bay, but it is pretty firmly the Central Valley.
Central Valley of California. It's the one, the only Mr. Roberto Mata. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Josito. What was up with that episode last week? I was like, is he okay?
I'm going to tell you something, though. Got a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah,
didn't I say that you would say something like that? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, that's what I'm doing, bro.
I didn't remember what I said you would say, though.
I'm now juicy in the reading challenge.
But I didn't know what I didn't remember. I don't remember what I said you would say. What did I say you would say?
Exactly what I just said.
Oh, is he okay? Yeah. So, before we get to any of that, hi everybody. This is RulaskaThoughts. One of the shows that is on Patreon. With the big takeaway, the recap show, most importantly, because if you're in the free feed, you don't get the recap, and Just Between Us Girls, and all kinds of shows. And if you want to get in on that, you're going to want to go to either patreon.com/Afterthought Media, or use the Patreon app, or use Apple Podcasts. Use Apple Podcasts. It's just one button. And for I think it's around, the reason I don't know is there's an Apple tax on things. And so I put $5, but then Apple charges its tax on it. So I think it's I legitimately think it's $666. I legitimately think it's $6.66 or something evil like that. But but when you do that, you get recap, you get Just Between Us Girls, and that's all you get. But that's all some people just want, Robert, and it's right there in your Apple Podcast app. You don't need to go anywhere or do anything. So check all that out. Robert, how you weren't here last week, and it's not Robert's fault. We just couldn't get our schedules together.
I was here last week.
You weren't on the show last week.
No, but the way they're like, oh my god, the scheduling snafu. It's it literally, you just picked up an extra shift, and then I had a plan in the evening.
Well, no, you needed to move the original time first. I was like, oh, that's no problem.
No.
Are you
I
sure?
needed to hold the original time first to make sure we didn't.
Oh, that's right. There was a hard out.
Yeah.
There was a hard out because you had something going on at noon. And then I was like, okay, no problem. And then literally right when we hung up the phone, my boss was like, can you come in 11 to 7? And as I was just telling Robert right now, I love getting off early. So I was like, sure. And I came in 11 to 7. Robert couldn't do it in the evening. There you go. I did a solo RulaskaThoughts. We're going to find out what Robert thought of that RulaskaThoughts. And we've gotten some listener feedback as well. So I will go through all of that. But before we do any of that, Robert, any personal stuff you want to tell us before we go to break?
No, nothing too personal. I'm like many other poke gays out there playing Pokopia right now.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you say that. Okay, good.
I knew that was going to come up in some fashion.
Well, yeah, I'm glad because my ex literally called me right when I got off work, and we talked until almost close to when we're recording right now. And he asked me if I was going to play, what's it called? Pokeconia or something?
Pokopia.
Because Nathan mentioned it on Just Between Us Girls. And I was telling Aiden, I go, I'm pretty sure Robert is going to bring it up this week because Nathan brought it up. And I said that, and it fits in very much with Robert in that Robert loves Pokemon and also Robert loves cozy games. So this just seems like a perfect blend for Robert. But Robert, what do you think of it?
I'm actually a touch underwhelmed.
Oh, really?
Actually, I think maybe because it's coming out in March. There are like very strong.
Oh, it's not out yet?
Well, it came out in March,
okay.
I should say. It came out last week. And of course, many people became aware and a fan of Animal Crossing because it happened to coincide with lockdown in 2020.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like springtime sunlight filtering through the windows, cozy environment, cozy game, cozy vibe, right? Like, so there's a lot of like 2020 vibe going on right now. And I think at the time, it allowed me to devote myself to Animal Crossing in a way that no functional adult should ever. And I just I have too much else going on in life that I don't think I can mentally be totally in Pokopia. It hasn't enthralled me. I'm just kind of like putting shit together.
So it's funny that you say that, and I'm sure this was not by accident, but recently Animal Crossing, even though they said they would never update this game ever again, did a surprise 3.0 drop of the game where they brought in a hotel that you can then, to help design and stuff. So I will say that, and that's what I was telling Aiden, I was surprised because I have not really picked up Animal Crossing in a very long time. My residents were like, who are you? We don't know who you are. One of them,
Who the fuck is Heather?
I would check in like maybe once every few months just to like pick weeds and stuff like that. But I guess one of my neighbors on Animal Crossing never saw me because when I just went back, he was like, I haven't seen you in over a year and a half. And I was like, whoa, right? So anyway, I did just finish the whole hotel thing. Let me tell you how long it had been, Robert. I hadn't even opened Brewster's Cafe. So I opened up Brewster's Cafe and the hotel. The hotel I love. I was telling Aiden that I was surprised that they haven't incorporated this before because it is fun in that like every day there's 8 new visitors. So you get to interact with 8 new, Animal Crossing characters you've never seen before. That said, you know what I really hate though? Let me say this. Sorry, Animal Crossing rant. I hate when you run into a villager that used to be on your island and then left. And there's no mechanism for the game for them to say, like, I remember I used to live here or anything like that.
Yeah, there is, girl.
Well, I bumped into Boris and Boris didn't mention it.
Well, then I maybe that wasn't what Boris was going to say, but there is a mechanism that they'll remember that they lived on your island. They'll be like, oh, it's just so nice to come back. You've really spruced up the place. I'm like, what the fuck you mean?
Boris did not say
It's been great the whole time.
And I was like, thank God I kicked you out of here, Boris. Anyway,
I wouldn't want Boris in my town either.
Boris is awful. I don't like any of the characters that I don't like. They legitimate for people who don't play Animal Crossing. It is funny. There are characters, and I don't have any of these characters on my island. There are legitimately characters who really do sound like this.
I don't want to go to the
And then it's like a bunny named Gaston.
Yeah, Boris sounds like that.
One of my favorites is the wolf Dobie. He sounds like that. Or Lobo. He sounds like
they all
that.
sound
They're
like
the grumpy personality
The grumpy
type.
ones sound like
I
that,
love those motherfuckers.
I don't like them. No, wait a minute. So now knowing that I love Animal Crossing, Aiden's convinced that I would like Pokopia.
So I've never been a Minecraft person. Like I've never
is
booted the
it
game
one of
up.
those?
I've never played it. It's very Minecraft aesthetic minded. Like everything's very cubic. And I think for that reason, I have a little bit of kind of like a sneering attitude towards that aesthetic. And also, as cutesy as Pokemon is, I don't play Pokemon because it's cutesy. Whereas this game like really revved up the cutesy factor.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think I don't need to play Pokemon because it's cool, because it's not. But I also don't. I'm not trying to live in a kawaii kind of 24/7 experience.
Yeah. All right, on that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're actually going to talk about our own Pocopia. It's called Rucopia, and we're talking about it right here on RulaskaThoughts. We'll be back right after this.
This is a Monday.com ad. The same Monday.com helping people worldwide getting work done faster and better. The same Monday.com designed for every team and every industry. The same Monday.com with built-in AI, scaling your work from day one. The same Monday.com that your team will actually love using. The same Monday.com with an easy and intuitive setup. Go to Monday.com and try it for free. Yes, the same Monday.com.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW. Let us surprise you.
This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But it's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI's not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. Their clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. They offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions that isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will find that their mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the healthcare they deserve. Because they believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized, insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
We are back. Now, before we get into meta and talk about this, our own show, and what people are saying about my last week's Rulaska Thoughts, which, by the way, was not, I should point out, was not on the public feed. Was not on the public feed. But it's not a Patreon. Oh, well, I guess it is Patreon only, but you don't have to pay for it. If you're a free member of the Patreon app over at patreon.com/Afterthought Media or on Patreon, you did get Rulaska Thoughts. So anybody, if you go right now for free, it's there in the catalog. They always got it. But it's only open, you have to be a Patreon member, even a free one. So if you want to hear what we're talking about, you can go there and listen. But before we get into any of that meta stuff, let's talk about the actual episode. I told Robert before we recorded that I've already put everything I have to say out there, unless Robert brings up some topic that I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. But Robert, what were your thoughts? What were your big takeaways? What were your deep philosophical takes on this episode?
I have two wolves inside of me. One grumpy like Dobie and one cool and stylish like Freya. Yeah. And one of them, definitely Nathan took the words out of that wolf's mouth when he said, this episode could have been an email. I mean, it really could have been. I actually am speculating alongside Nathan, being like, why did they not have a bottom two? Why did they not have an elimination? There's usually some level of like reasoning that we can understand why that happens. If the parents are there for a makeover, then yeah, it makes sense. They want to keep the vibes positive, so they're not going to send someone. There was like no justification here. So I guess in that, the grumpy side of me is like, well, I guess all that happened this week, and we had to watch a hour-long pump up session of Jane Don't. Like, we haven't had enough of that character and person and queen in the last 8 or 9 episodes. But then the other wolf, and this kind of ties into the meta conversation we're going to have, also enjoys the fact that it was really just an episode, apart from Jane Don't for the most part, mostly about like queer joy and just like people just having a good time being allowed with each other. I think promo themes are never particularly important, but I will recall that the promo theme for this season was "Let There Be Light" in dark times, or maybe I flipped that. But that's kind of the ethos here, and I'd say this episode kind of encapsulated that the best.
To be honest with you, as you're saying this could be one of the episodes that they want to submit for the Emmys. And so it's like, okay, well, we're gonna make it so it's, I don't know, very Emmy worthy.
Are the Black Eyed Peas Emmy voters?
They are. That's why they wanted to do it. Yeah, they want to give that little bit of that boom boom pow love. But because Iman's a pretty big get, and weird to have her on halfway through the season. Okay, well, very fair. Any other big thoughts on this episode? You're right, since it could have been an email, there's not really a lot narratively to chew on. No, and that's why I would be surprised if this was the Emmy submitted episode, because I don't think there was really, apart from people who are fans of this show, I don't think this episode would change anyone's mind in either direction. Not that it was a nothing burger, but it also wasn't an event. That's a good point. But let me ask you this, Robert. Did you watch Untucked? I did not. So I watched it. There's nothing. The only reason I watch it, I'm like, I want to see what Discord says. And Discord legitimately says not much. She's just pretty much like, well, it is what it is. Well, she's pretty meek. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. I thought she'd be more of a rabble rouser than she was. I think she likes the aesthetic of it and might like to consider herself that, but she's not actually that rah-rah. Yeah. Like every time I see her on the stage, she's very earnestly, anxiously awaiting feedback, and she looks like she's going to shit herself. And you know what? In a weird kind of way, I know what Discord feels like. And what I mean is, I know what it feels to be like the outsider looking in. Like whenever I've hung out with you and Christian and your friends, and there's like the mean gays, like I'm the Discord where the mean gays are being mean to me. Robert and Christian leading the charge, by the way. And name a time. You know the time I'm talking about. I don't. Yeah, well. No. Oh, by the way, I did recommend you guys. So I have, okay. Well, we got to bring this up later. Let's give the Drag Race girlies what they want, okay? Yeah. But I have a couple other wayward notes. Good, because I have nothing else to say about this. Go ahead. So I only say this because obviously I'm annoying in this way, and I haven't heard it on any of their shows. Well, there's many ways here. Don't sell yourself short. Good point, but this episode's not about me. Okay. But they did this challenge on Global All Stars, if you may recall, where they had each other's suitcases and then they just like mixed up, whatever the person decided to put in it. Mm-hmm. And I spent like half this episode kind of like annoyed that I had to see fucking Sierra Mist's face again, because I'm just like really not into that queen. And just like the Jane Don't talking about Sierra Mist constantly. It's like a combination of two people who I just like don't want to witness conversation about. Mm-hmm. But it was a step up, I think, from, if you remember, Nelenia crying because she thought the fabric that was in Kitty Scott Closet's suitcase was hard to work with, and that she had a literal meltdown over it. Do you remember that? Nelenia cried all the time anyway, didn't she? Absolutely. No, yeah. But I mean, I guess in this case, I'll give Jane Don't the props to say that she, yes, kind of said a little bit too much in this factor, or on this argument, but at least she had a more television ready perspective to give, in like having all this like faux desire for vengeance and like fire and brimstone and all that. Better than crying. Yeah. Well, I do think what I will say is it was such a short time frame, and Jane turning out what she turned out. I wonder if she was playing up a little bit how much of a predicament she was in, because I'm like, well, she clearly put it together in a very competent way, which makes me think like that doesn't like she must have known she could do something with it.
Probably. I mean, it's funny to think about when she opened that suitcase and there were, like 5 or 6 stacks of fabric seemingly very well folded and like, like a sale at Joann's. But the scraps, it almost felt like maybe she had like 1 or 2 pieces that were scraps and she just wanted to continue to like emphasize those and show them to the girls in the camera and be like, look at this garbage I have. I feel like there was still some like solid fabric in there.
Yeah, you're making a good point because you're right. I didn't think about that. Because we only really saw 2 pieces of fabric that were like that. There was one that was just like a random piece of nothing. And then there was the one we always saw, which had the holes in it. But there was one that was an entire piece of fabric, but it just had glue on it.
Does that matter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Flip it over.
Yeah. Or take the glue off. Cut it off.
Wash it a little. Yeah. Go to the sink.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Jane Done's a whiner.
It's that recent meme that's going around that's like, Mama didn't raise a quitter, but I'm going to get it done, but I'm going to complain about it.
Yeah. Exactly. It does really. I recently just. I think I may have even called this when I was in the moment on one of the shows, but it was like the way Discord is just so, zen about her predicament. When she's never been in the top, she's always been safe the entire time. She's getting the Jan treatment, but doesn't have the Jan reaction. And meanwhile, Jane is probably, at least in the US franchise, overall the best performing drag queen to ever be on this competition. If you were to assign a point system. And she's complaining the entire time.
It must be really, really grating to be in that room with her. Kind of like Lucy LaDuca.
Yeah, but Lucy LaDuca was getting the they're not janning Jane Doan. They did for a little bit because she didn't win, but then she got 2 wins in a row. She'll complain next week.
Oh, for sure. I think the preview had like Mikey saying like a very lightly barbed thing, and then the cut is to Jane rolling her eyes. Actually, like I worry for Jane's vision with the sheer amount of eye rolling that girl does.
What do you think of this whole thing about the thing she did last week where she said that she had to address these allegations and whatnot?
So I'm going to say something kind of nasty.
Before you say it, what we're talking about is last week on social media, Jane said, tomorrow I'm going to address these allegations that happened against me and they're false and blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, oh my God, what's going on? And the next day was some joke thing. There was a commercial for her merch about how she's going to admit that she's annoying. Okay, go ahead.
So this kind of social media like attempt at creating buzz falls flat if your intended audience is busy living their lives and not like looking at every story and waiting to see what's going to be posted the next day. I actually had no idea about it until after the fact. So, and also like I'm not looking at drag queen Instagram stories, so like how am I supposed to know? But then when I read about it, I was like, what? It's kind of like tone deaf in a way that I think Jane probably thinks of herself as smart and clever for coming up with like, oh my God, what if I like poke fun and like parody the way that people do Notes app apologies and stuff, but then turn it into a merch drop. It was just a misfire on several levels, I think. Reading after the fact. It was really corny. It was like deeply corny actually to read about. And it's like, of course it's this girl. Like,
any other big thoughts there, Robert?
Just because I am unfortunately doing the negative thing. I'm over a few things about the season.
Sure.
I don't think we need any more squabble references. It's like at least 2 or 3 times an episode. And I think the show is stuck in its repetition of what it thinks is going to be super funny and popular. Yeah. And it is kind of hit the mark with the Discord walk, which at the beginning of the season I complained about. And then I kind of like post facto decided, no, I guess it's fine. But they're doing it in several other things too. Like it's every Kenya pleaser confessional. You're correct. 1, she won't open her eyes, and 2, she'll make a reference about like her big black ass. It's like every time she has the same like reflexive pronouns, if you would. It's the same stuff. And similarly, I think it like the squabble thing, I personally, as someone who obviously notices when people use words incorrectly, I just don't really care. It's not funny. It doesn't crack a smile on me.
Well,
enough to hear it 3 times an episode.
Especially, which is funny because Nathan hits this stuff every fucking week about like, Nathan has the 3 jokes he says a season. So like one of them is the epitome, right? When instead of saying epitome, Kenya said epitome. But there was another word that Kenya used incorrectly recently, and I was like, who are you to make fun of anybody?
I feel like maybe she knows that she screws words up, and that's why she can't let squabble go.
Yes, 100%. And she also doesn't know in the moment that no one told her in the moment. You know?
Yeah. I mean, also on the topic of Kenya, she was in the top 2. She did look fantastic, but I realized a little bit later that was basically her entrance look, just in red.
Oh.
It's hard for
I'll have to go look at her entrance look.
Miss Pleaser.
So do you like anybody on this show, Robert?
Let's go down the list. Let's see.
That's remaining.
Discord,
That's remaining.
Yeah. Discord I like. I think she's endearing. I think that I haven't been wowed by anything that she's done, but I haven't been offended or like disinterested. I think she's a fine presence, you know?
Sure.
Kenya, I don't see any star power, and I think that she's kind of just like deeply average on like every level. I don't dislike her. She's just completely. I don't understand why they didn't say that she should go home, because she's been in the bottom over and over and has not had a top placement. If they're going to justify saying Discord should go home for not having a top placement, Kenya's right fucking there.
Yeah.
Darlene I like, even though I think she's kind of a nothing burger as well. She's like a lovely presence, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey has upward momentum that is fun, and I appreciate the fact that they called her Arya Stark on the show, because everyone thinks that that's Arya fucking Stark.
I mean, I know it was a thing on the internet, but they had not said this on the show, so it was interesting to hear them say on the show.
Yeah. I like my girl Jacinda. She's great. She's fun. They, once again, are trying to emphasize that everyone thinks she's stupid, but whatever. I talked about that a few episodes ago. So I do like Juicy, and no, I don't like Jane. She gets way too many confessionals. I have to watch her and listen to her complain way too fucking much. I realize I'm kind of doing the same thing right now. Maybe that's why I don't like her.
Interesting.
Is that all of them?
I never thought about it that way. But what did you think of this reading challenge?
Oh, and then there's Nene, who I think is a very clean, well put together queen, but I would apply the critiques that they constantly gave Chad Michaels in season 4 about being like overly professional and like perfectionist, and therefore not really having like any identity because of it. That's what I think of Nene Coco.
Well, there is this thing with Nene Coco. I don't remember. I kind of referenced this. I think I even compared it to you, where I said that she is smart. You can tell she's a smart queen. She's a brainy queen, right? But you can tell she thinks everyone else is really stupid.
Do you think that?
I kind of get that impression. I think she's smart enough not to vocalize that. Again, this goes back to the whole, like, 2 times that we've seen her trying to gamify, the whole, like, choosing a role for some sort of performance challenge. And this wasn't in the first one, but in the second one, there was this weird, like, ruse she was doing about it and taking it back and this and that. And not that she was cheating, but that she thought she could pull one over on them, that she's so smart that she can just pull one over on them. And that's the impression I got. I could have been totally projecting this.
I think it's interesting that when there's a conventionally attractive guy on stage, you will either decide to lust after them vocally or anticipate that others will say that you're going to lust after them. So you will instead decide to deride them. and psychoanalyze them as awful, terrible, twisted people.
I don't think Nina's a terrible person. I don't think anybody in this cast is a terrible person.
I mean, I'm being hyperbolic, but
I will say I don't think Nina's as hot as everyone. I think she's just the hottest one in this season. Right? I think she's okay. Thank you. Any other big thoughts on this episode of, or you know what, the previous episode too? Did you have any big thoughts you couldn't say last week on the previous episode, which was, I don't know?
It was the musical, and just that it was a travesty that my girl Athena's gone, because I think out of the whole cast, she was the one that I'm very grateful that she's like been added to the Drag Race pantheon.
I do like that this season they were like, guys, we're having more seasoned queens, more experienced queens, and then boom, 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 3 in a row, they got rid of them.
Yeah, that they did.
Yeah. And now we have Mikey, Nene, Jane's the elder statesman, and she's 32. Who else is left? Darlene. Darlene's in her 30s, but whatever. Discord and
Juicy,
Crystal.
but Juicy is like the only young one, which is I think is why I'm enjoying her a lot, is because it's not like season 17 where everyone save 1 or 2 people were like in their 20-nothings. It was like in this case it's like just Juicy, so she gets the ingenue like spotlight and attention, kind of like Adore, and that like makes her much more likable than if it was like a cast of 10 Juicies.
But like you were saying earlier, like I don't, and I said this on the previous episode, I don't get why they expected Juicy to know that OJ Simpson was associated with called the juice, and the juice is loose with a slut. Like, who would know that?
I mean, they expected Aja to know how to pronounce Franjolie.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, you're right. But that was the judges, not the cast. Like, you're telling me that this dummy Darlene Mitchell, well, she's older. You're telling me that this dummy Discord Adams was like just totally got the OJ Simpson's "the juice is loose" reference?
I mean, I'll be real. I didn't know that.
Exactly.
But also, I wasn't watching the. I mean, I feel like it's like an LA thing where, and probably multiple other cities or just people in general, it's kind of like a where were you when JFK got shot? It's like where were you watching the OJ police chase? I hear people reference it quite often.
Yeah, no, it was a big moment. It was kind of weird. I think for anyone young listening, it would be literally if Giselle Bundchen was dead and Tom Brady was the suspect. And then all of a sudden Tom Brady's just speeding down the 405. You know?
Well,
and
he's
you're like,
lucky
what
to
the
be
fuck?
speeding down the 405. I'll give him
well,
that.
they
It's a
cleared
rare
it because they knew it
experience.
was coming. Yeah. It was just bizarre. It was super bizarre. Anyway. Any other
On
big
bizarre
Drag Race
things,
thoughts?
I have one more thing.
Go ahead. This is Rulaska Thoughts. This is what we do.
Another thing that I haven't seen mentioned anywhere, and it is kind of actually really funnily bizarre, and I wonder if the producers thought about it, but in one of the workroom sessions, they're gabbing about, they're doing a bit about the contestant Crystal, about how she was there, and like, you know, they're like building on the bit, and they're having a good back and forth about it. Jane came across well in that for sure as well. You know, she's fine when she's not rolling her eyes and growling about everything, about how she's doing so well. But anyways, it reminded me that there was a queen, I think it was UK5, named Crystal, who was completely scrubbed and erased from like the 2 or 3 episodes that she was on.
Oh, yeah. I watched that season. Why was that again?
I think she had serious
SA allegations, sexual assault.
Yeah.
You're right. I think she was only in like 2 episodes or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a full Sherry Pie situation, but it was definitely like, I think if you are into the weeds and spend sometimes too much time reading about the behind the scenes of the show, like the girls know.
If I'm being honest, and this is a hot take, controversial opinion, it's been, 6 years. Release the fucking tapes. Let's just see the full season Sherry Pie thing of it all, right?
I don't agree.
Well,
not even really. Like, yes, there is the moral consideration, but also from what I saw, I have no interest in seeing more.
Well, I actually, I think I said this on a show, or maybe I didn't. I actually think she was originally going to get the Jane Don't edit, which is very high performing but really annoying person.
Yeah, it felt like Ben Platt on Drag Race.
Was Ben Platt ever a judge on Drag Race?
He has been a guest judge. I can't remember.
I know
when.
that stupid husband of his was. In fact, I think on that iconic Valentina episode, I think he's the judge.
Noah Gavin was on Maskgate. What a blessing for him. How lucky.
Yeah. I've heard nothing about what terrible people they are.
I don't really think in my sphere they're relevant enough to be brought up, except like, Ben Platt.
He's a terrible person.
I don't even know that.
That's weird since you guys were on a podcast together called Platitudes.
That's so dumb.
Okay. All right. So last week, for those of you who are on the public feed and didn't hear, but again, you can go and listen to it. I did a 50-minute RulaskaThoughts episode about, allegations about me being annoying, and I confirmed them, but also about the show being negative. And it for those who didn't hear, I mean, Robert, maybe you can summarize it better than I could, but it wasn't really necessarily about the show, whether it would be negative. It was a deeper thing about the state of the world and how that's being reflected in the show and thus in our own, in the RuPaul's Drag Race and thus in our own podcast. But did you have any big takes on this or anything?
Well, I think your central thesis is that there is an odious presence that is seeping within like every corner of conversation and interaction, and that is inevitably going to cause both us as content creators and those who consume content to approach what otherwise could be happier, more joyful, more excitable material with a little bit less grace.
Yes, and as I mentioned, a lot of the co-hosts have things going on in their lives that they don't talk about on the air that could also lend itself to being. I don't think necessarily, So to be fair to the person who wrote the comments, I think ultimately what they were trying to say is not necessarily that the opinions are negative, but it doesn't sound like you guys are even having fun talking about the show. And I think, and I'm not going to speak for you or for Nathan. I can speak for Lori though. I'm her. I have power of attorney over Lori, but all three of you to some degree have had extenuating personal life situations that could lend itself to not necessarily being in the best mood while covering the show.
It's happened once or twice, yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of what we're talking about then. Anyway, because we're running short on time a little bit, because I got several very, very kind messages from people, most of them written, but we did get one speak pipe message, and that's easy to play on a show instead of me just reading, an email that we got. And for those of you who wrote the email, you know what, I'm not going to go through this, people, but if you wrote me an email, if I didn't respond initially, it's because I'm like, I'm going to read this on the air and I'll respond. But I don't think I'm going to read those on the air now. So I'll respond personally. It might take me a little bit, but I'll respond personally to those emails and thank you. But we do have a speak pipe message, which if you want to get your point across, that's the best way to do it. And this is from a guy named Lewis. Now I'm going to tell you, before I play Lewis, I've heard it, two things. One, which I always love, I don't leave speak pipes for ourselves. For my shows. I don't know what it's like, but a lot of people seem to be confused, and there's always like a mistaken one or two before they send the real one. And Lewis's was really cute. It was like 20 seconds, and he was like, I want to say, up, And so then he left a real one. So his name is Lewis, and we're going to play it. But the other thing, too, is like, man, I'm a sucker for any kind of like Britishy voice. I say Britishy because I don't know if he's Australian or Scottish or Irish. Maybe I will hear when I hear it again. But something like that, I'm like, oh man, he sounds really cute. That's all I'm saying. Saying it sounds cute. All right, here we go.
Okay, so hello, this is Lewis from Quite City, Scotland. I have just submitted.
Literally just said he's Scottish.
A message, and you can see how many times I've reset this because I did not mean to send that one. So I will just be brief, and I'll do this in.
You don't think he sounds cute there, Robert?
He's very giggly, and he's has very bubbly energy.
I like giggly. All right, here we go.
A1 take. I'm very much like maybe a growing part of the Afterthought Media audience because I don't watch the show, and I don't watch the show, but I listen and engage with the Afterthought content because I don't watch the show. So I know over the past couple of weeks, people was talking around the show being perceived to be as negative. But actually, I was thinking, just even listening to Jill, it's almost I kept thinking around this kind of in defense of the negative. You know, you guys critique the show. You're skeptical of production and its ploys and devices, and that's why I listen to the Afterthought content. You know, I've only been a Patreon member for a couple of months now, and I see that as almost a great relationship with Drag Race because I've actually become disillusioned with the content of Drag Race, but I love the content about Drag Race. So I just want to say, keep up the great work, even if it's perceived as negative, because I love the conversations that, you know, if being negative is the starting off point for these great conversations with Nathan and Robert and Laurie, I think it's great, and I think you should keep it all up, and I love the show. And although I've not been as long in the tooth as Jill, I absolutely have really enjoyed becoming a Patreon member. So just wanted to say that, and thank you so much.
All right. So what do you have to say about that, Robert? What do you have to say about what good old Lewis has to say?
It was lovely. Thank you, Lewis. Also, quick aside, Jill was also lovely when she was on her brief stint last week.
Jill was fantastic, yes.
I
like Jill, really quickly, Jill did post a comment on Patreon on her post saying, "Oh my God, Lori, don't be mad at me." And I was like, do you think Lori listens to any of the Drag Race shows? Lori's too busy at home watching Rizzoli and Isles. She's not listening to Drag Race.
Is that
content.
your one lesbian TV show reference?
No, there's also the L Word.
Okay, yes, girl, you're digging deep.
There's also Ellen. And there's also the Golden Girls.
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black did have some pretty hot lesbian scenes, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it was like kind of like its selling point after after the writing fell off.
And I don't know if you've run into this. I've said this before about people that, you know, that you see on screen, off screen. Like, for instance, when I was in college, I was a college entertainment journalist. So to interview all the celebrities of the 90s, right? And I actually interviewed Chris O'Donnell during the filming of Batman and Robin or whatever, right?
And that is absolutely on my short list of gay awakenings.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, in person, he just seemed like an average, you know, frat boy, but pops on screen. Don't get me wrong, not denying on screen fucking gorgeous, right? But if you saw him in person, you'd be like, oh, okay, whatever, right? Whereas in New York City, one time I was walking down the street and a woman ran out of a store or whatever, right? And accosted the lady walking next to me. And I was like, what the fuck? And I realized it was Gwyneth Paltrow, who is stunning in real life. I was like, oh, I never thought Gwyneth Paltrow was anything, but she is stunning in real life. Okay, all this to say is I watched this Orange is the New Black, right? And there was a guy in the first couple of seasons who was like the security guard that was fucking somebody. I don't remember, but he's played by Pablo Schreiber.
Stash?
Yeah, he's played by Pablo Schreiber. I went to an intimate event where he was there, and can I please tell you, he is one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen in person.
Isn't he like 6'5" or something? Super
tall, fucking ripped. Also a really nice guy, and just so fucking incredibly hot. I couldn't understand because I did not think he was hot on Orange is the New Black.
It's funny that you say that because I had that same journey, almost word for word, with also another security guard on Orange is the New Black, Josh Segarra.
I don't remember him.
He was in the later seasons.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes. Oh, he's hotter in real life?
Yeah. I mean, I think when I first saw him on TV, I was like, he's hot in like the average douche way. Yeah. But then when I saw him in person, I was like, oh my God, like I think I might have drooled a little.
Yeah. Guys, Pablo Schreiber, I was like, holy shit. It was kind of crazy. Okay. All right. On that note, why don't we just call it a day there? Thank you, Lewis,
you did ask me what I thought about the message.
I did.
Diverged. I mean,
Okay,
I guess I don't know. I mean, I wonder how much longer we'll be talking about one innocent comment that said that it was negative, and we're 3 weeks later still talking about the same topic.
People
I'll
send
say
in a voicemail.
I haven't lost any sleep over it. I'm like, yeah, I know. You know,
I did lose some sleep because he wrote this. I don't know if it's a woman or man. The person wrote this like literally late at night, and I just had a conversation that day about, you know, I think with you actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had talked about something in the general region.
Yeah, and then that day I was like, oh well. Anyway, all right. Why don't we leave it there on that note? We're gonna call it a day. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Robert, what do you got going on over the next week?
I guess Pocopia. Trying to convince myself that I'm having a good time. Maybe. I don't know. It's also like it's supposed to be 92 degrees the next week. Why am I always talking about fucking weather? But I miss the sun, so when it's there, I'm like,
can we look forward to some beach pictures with a random, you know, like, you know, Ulysses? Is it kind of in the corner, you know, as you're reading James Joyce's, you know, abstruse novel, and it's in your hand at the beach?
Maybe. I would have to go to the beach to do so. And
who said Latinas can't go to the beach?
As our version of Squabble, they said Latinas can't go to the beach. So
yeah, I beat you to it.
I went to the beach last week after I had to go to Playa Vista for a meeting. And afterwards, I had the afternoon to myself. So I was like, I'm never in fucking PV. So let me just pop on over. And damn, those beaches are fucking ugly. I can't stand that region of beach.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully they'll eliminate somebody.
And probably Discord, the way that everyone else seems to not see it for her, even though she's just been safe. I don't get it.
All right,
but here we go.
We'll see you guys next week.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Ford, Senior Awards Correspondent at Vanity Fair and co-host of Little Gold Men. Oscar season is upon us. Little Gold Men takes you behind the scenes of the race for the biggest prize in Hollywood.
There's 100 wrestlers in the room, but only one can be Oscar nominated.
Whether you're a movie lover or an industry buff, Little Gold Men from Vanity Fair has everything you need to know about this year's Oscar race. Follow and listen to Little Gold Men wherever you get your podcasts.